Let's watch some StarCraft. It is JackTheFace versus Isildur. Isildur, and the map is blue shift. Isildur, here he is in the top right, and there's the names at the top, Isildur, and in the bottom left, JackTheFace. As we can see, both players are building stuff, and that's excellent news from my point of view. Players that don't build stuff historically don't do as well. Wait, just stop. What is this? Where's the zoom? No, just no. Okay, as you were. Pylon for Isildur, and he is in fact chronoing workers out, so that's very encouraging. Followed by the gateway, everything looking pretty normal over there. This is gas first, very early gas. Gas before supply depot isn't really a thing, and you have to think to yourself, if I'm going to build a super early gas, what's the point of that if I then don't mine from it? You know, don't build things like gas until you need them. Otherwise, those are minerals that could have been spent building your first barracks that bit earlier, and that allows you to get earlier marines out, which means ultimately at the 5-minute mark you have more marines than you otherwise would have. This little guy is presumably off to have a bit of a scout, so let's take a look around. Up in here, 2 gateways under construction. The Terran, meanwhile, is going for an engineering bay. So I don't know what that's about. Maybe that is going to be for some cheeky, quick upgrades, or possibly just so that he can build turret defenses. The engineering bay enables upgrades. It also enables missile turrets, which are detectors as well. And detectors can be useful against Protoss. A sort of common, fairly unpleasant thing Protoss can do is build Dark Templars, which are permanently cloaked units that can one-shot your workers. So they can be really effective, and having a missile turret is pretty much a hard counter to that. So in Protoss land, we've got this expo being built, so that is going to keep Isildur's economy nice and strong. The 2 gateways finished. The gas is down, but no sign yet of a cybernetics core. And that's very much your next step. You can't spend gas until you've got a cybernetics core. There's literally nothing in the game that you can spend gas on that does not require at least a cyb core. So that cyb core needs to be the next step. Bunch of idle workers lying about near that expand, just, I don't know, having fun. JackTheFace comes in to have a look. I don't know if he is looking or not, but his SCV is. Let's find out. Is JackTheFace looking? He is. This is JackTheFace's view right now. This is what he's looking at. Spending some time looking at it, it seems. Is this on camera track? It is. Still looking at that. That's making me awfully curious. Yeah, that's what I suspected. So JackTheFace, it says he's looking at it, but is he looking? Is he? I don't. What's he doing? What is this? What the? What? Wait, something's not right here. How has he got 50 APM when he's just staring at that? I think that is lies. Anyway, Isildur, what are you looking at, Isildur? You see, he's looking at stuff where he was. JackTheFace. Okay, he is alive. Excellent. Anywho, I got distracted for a second there. Apologies about that. So we do have upgrades coming down for the Terran, and those are going to be helpful. Generally, if you're going to build a lot of Marines as Terran, then this upgrade is absolutely superb. Marines do tiny amounts of damage, but they do it repetitively very, very quickly. So if you add 1 to the damage they do, that multiplies up by those repetitive attacks, and it makes your Marines significantly more effective. Conversely, if you're playing against Marines, the first upgrade that you want to think about is an armor upgrade, because if you can remove 1 from every Marine attack, then that has a huge impact on the total DPS. Whereas if you're up against Zealots, they do a much slower attack with much more damage per attack, so it's not such a crucial thing then. So, Zealots in the queue, 1 Stalker out, bunch of Zealots, army supply looking favourable for Isildur. Not much in the way of army over here, but economy-wise, look, a 3rd base coming down. The 2nd is up, but not yet mining. Are you going to play again? No? Okay. This base is saturated. Now, typically, once you got your men saturated, the standard thing to do is set the rally point on that command center to these minerals, so that you can populate this mineral line 2 at a time. But we do have workers being built from the natural expansion. So yeah, JackTheFace, on top of getting himself in a good position economically, the missile turret coming down here is going to be, I suppose, vaguely an unusual place to put it, I suppose, but should the Protoss send across any observers or anything like that, this will take care of them, and will give them some sort of early warning about any aggression coming through the middle of the map there. In Protoss land, worker production is still underway. This base not yet saturated. We've got the air armor upgrade coming, and that is confusing. Also, the double side core is a bit weird. You know, the only time you need 2 side cores is if you're committing hard to air, because air upgrades come from the cybernetics core. I don't see a Stargate here, so I have no idea why there's 2 of these. Neither do I have any clue why there's an air armor upgrade going on. That is just bonkers. Anyway, maybe in a moment I'll be eating my words as 6 Stargates appear right here. There is no question that he's got the minerals to build it, but if you are going to build an air army, you're going to need that, and that, and that. Air is expensive. So this is a bit confusing. I don't really know what Isildur is thinking with this stuff. I think that's just a mistake, and I think the second side core is also a mistake. Not as big a mistake, though, as not having this second gas. That's going to be critical. Look at the imbalance here. You know, even on the income tab, that is a massive sort of gas to mineral imbalance. You always get more minerals than gas, but it doesn't need to be so savage. What? How did I miss this happening? What's going on here? Right, so it turns out at some point Isildur appears to have built a pylon right in the middle of his opponent's mineral line. Hang on, what? Hang on. Wait, what, here? Really? This far back? I can't believe I missed this, especially given that, believe it or not, I was in the room when this game was played, and you know, maybe I shouldn't admit this, but I think building the pylon right there was my idea. Not that I was coaching or anything. Let's keep an eye on this little fella and see what actually went on. Let's speed it up. Yeah, there it is. So he kills the worker, but he just allows this pylon to exist merrily and just wait, what? I don't understand why you would just leave that there. What were you thinking, JackTheFace? It's just a harmless wee pylon, I'll just leave it. But all you've got to do is, look, you've got a spare marine. That marine just needs to come over here, shoot away at that. Worst case scenario, literally the worst case scenario, you know, he's going to warp in a load of stuff and kill you. Best case scenario, by killing this, you potentially supply block him. You also deny him vision. And here he is warping in stuff. So these zealots being warped in ever so slowly. Should you witness this happening, a couple of things to bear in mind. While an object is being warped in, it takes twice as much damage from any attack on it. So you could surround these. It also can't attack while it's being warped in. So you could surround these as they're being warped in with the workers if you have to. And you could definitely have picked those off, and that would have just been an expensive mistake. As it stands, though, this is devastating. Let's have a little peek. Ow! You know, that's a world of pain. Literally a world of pain. That has done a substantial amount of the mineral income. Let's have a look at the army supply tab. JackTheFace is behind in army supply, but he does have a reasonable amount of production up. You know, he's building the marines 2 at a time from there. This has got a tech lab coming. He's got this bunker. Here comes the Protoss. He should know about this. He's got the sensor tower. He needs to pull these marines back. As a top tip, you know, zealots are melee units, so they need to get up close and personal to attack you. If you've got ranged units, don't let them get up close and personal and slice you in the face with their swords. You know, the thing to do is to shoot them, pull back a little bit, shoot them again, pull back, and just keep running away from them, because they've only got swords and you've got a gun. Imagine being the guy that brings a sword to a gunfight. You don't expect to win that. So really, you don't want to be losing marines to zealots. I mean, charge lots, different story, but with slow zealots, shouldn't really be losing substantial numbers of Marines to those. Now, I suspect JackTheFace is not aware that these bunkers, if you get your SCVs around those and put them on auto repair, they will seriously extend the life of these bunkers. They can do a great deal of help. These units need to be in the bunker so that they have a hope of survival, really. What they don't need to be is right next to these zealots. I say, you know, I know that they were focusing the bunker, and the bunker did go down. It's still worth having the Marines in there. Marines in a bunker do more damage than Marines on their own. I think they have extended range. Maybe somebody can like Google that and check. They've certainly, yeah, I'm almost certain about the increased range, and they potentially maybe have a slightly higher damage output, or maybe I invented that. Maybe it just seems that way. Anyway, for now, Jack has stabilized in this area. This stalker isn't going to do well, is it? No. But he has lost his main base. So this bunker is absolutely critical to keeping him alive. He needs to get workers repairing this, because otherwise these stalkers will eventually grind it down and pick it up. And look, it's going to burn down Terran buildings once they get into red health. Actually just catch fire and they burn. So you need the SCVs to repair that. Otherwise this bunker will just eventually detonate, and that'll be the end of it. I don't know about trying to push up here. I mean, you do need rid of the pylon, but maybe now isn't the time. You want to reinforce this position, get your bunker safe, make sure that he can't come down there easily and have at you. These units are just wandering up the ramp are going to die badly. Imagine, you know, walking in, you're a guy with a rocket launcher or whatever a marauder is packing. I think it's a rocket launcher of some description, a grenade launcher, and these guys have got swords, and what you've just done is walked right into the middle of them. You know, put yourself in the position of a guy with a grenade launcher. Is that what you want to do against people with swords? It isn't, is it? It isn't. You want to be all the way over there shooting them with your rocket launcher while they're not able to sword you in the face. So there's definitely some you know, fairly minor adjustments to unit handling that could greatly improve the longevity of those sort of Terran units in this game. But let's see where we're at. Army supply is a bit savage. The worker supply is much more even. The killed unit count is nasty. The income tab is actually quite even. So this isn't beyond saving just yet. But Jack certainly has some problems to deal with. It might have been an idea to just lift this up and fly it away and try and make sure that this base is safe. You know, another couple of bunkers here. And these cyclones take too long to build. Your much better option would have been widow mines. You can get some widow mines out. They can be very, very effective against pretty much anything. Alternatively, Hellions build pretty quickly. Same build time, in fact, and they are very effective against Zealots because they do that splash damage in a straight line, and they move much, much faster than these Zealots. So in theory, a Zealot should never be able to kill a Hellion, because the Hellion can just run away, turn around, shoot the Zealot in the face, and run away again. But that's not what's occurred. So I believe these are the closing stages of this game. The army supply is deeply, deeply imbalanced. I wonder, has our Protoss player been teching up whilst this is happening? No. I mean, there's still no gas here. There's only 2 workers in this one. I'm surprised he can afford any stalkers at all, to be honest. And we still got these 2 side cores and no sign of any air in the end. So that definitely was a mistake. Well, there it is. That was some sort of GG. Or G at the very least.